So here I am at the Embarcadero Harrison Square. I was promised a short little tutorial about where and how I took the shot of my cover front page of the ebook. Here it is. So let me quick go through the camera settings. I do run the camera as normal, aperture priority mode. I chose an f-stop of 9.0 and this reflects an 8-second shutter speed. Of course I put the camera into bracketing mode, so I have right now normal exposed image, underexposed image, and a overexposed image. Because it's night, I have -1, 0, +1. Alright, now let me shoot and see what I can do back home. That is probably going to be my last video from here, from Ostermoningen. I decided to move. I bought an apartment and I bought a hobby room, and my hobby room is going to be my new digital darkroom. So yeah, but before, I would like to talk to you about a special kind of photograph I took. I took that actually last year when I was over in San Francisco, and I was walking around and was looking for something different, and I found that broken pier, and in the back of this pier there is the Oakland Bay Bridge. I promised a video, and this is what we're gonna do. Okay, now here's Lightroom. For those of you who don't know Lightroom, this is an Adobe product, and this is where I start. So first things first, I'm gonna import not the videos. I'm gonna import the photographs from my camera directly into Adobe Lightroom. Here on the left-hand side, you see how I organize myself. I have a subfolder, and I start with the year, the month, and the date, and followed by a short description so I know where I took them, or what it was, what I did, and so on. Yeah, so this is how I organize myself. So first I have my NAS. There I have a subfolder, the year first, so 2014, 2015, 2016, and in 2016 this is where I put my subfolder 2016 1005 USA tour. Maybe you were reading over at my blog my travels, so I have a travel blog, travel and photography blog. I call it's lightsandbites.com. And maybe you've seen that I was over in the United States, and I was going from New York to San Francisco, and this is how I call my my travel, my big travel across in the United States. I crossed them. I flew to New York, I flew to St. Louis, drove to Kansas City, drove to Denver. Within between this, I was in Chicago. From there I flew to, I think, Denver. From there I went then to San Francisco, and this is where it, my big travels ends. Again, so I call my big vacation over there, I call them from New York to San Francisco. There's a whole story on my blog. I think there's 7 different stories. New York, St. Louis, Kansas City. I didn't take any photographs there. This is when I went there and just created my logo. Chicago, Denver, Colorado Springs, and San Francisco. Today I would like to work on a photograph I took in San Francisco. Down here, I was mentioning this. Let me jump over to the develop module and see what I did. This is great here. I kind of found this little pier, the broken pier here, by accident. I wanted to walk to the AT&T Park, which is in the right hand side, and I think on the left hand side there's like Pier 1 if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, before this video, before I got back here showing you what to do, how I post-process my photographs, I recorded a whole video there, and you can see where I'm standing at and how my camera settings are. Yeah, so let's start. Yeah, I took a full HDR, so I have my normal exposed, my underexposed, and my overexposed photograph here. I already can tell you I don't like this part of the photograph, and I do not like this part, this building of the photograph. So we're gonna later go to Adobe Photoshop and remove it by cropping. Okay, now the only thing I need to do now is I'm gonna select the first one, shift select the last one, and get on top here and deal with the white balance. So there are a few presets I want to try. I want to go for daylight, not that bad. I'm gonna go for cloudy, shade. I don't see any difference in this. I don't like the two, but you know, let's give it a try. It's not that bad. I kind of like that. Let us do this and export those photographs. By the way, this is the way I work. From Lightroom, I export all my photographs into a specific subfolder. I call this subfolder processing subfolder. This is also a location on my NAS system, and from there I'm going to create the HDR photograph and get over to Photoshop, do the final retouching, and save it as a PSD. Now again, I'm going to hit right click, say export, and instead of export with previous, those are the previous settings, I'm going to hit export. Now here you can see I have my NAS, and this is my processing subfolder where all the photographs go. I export them as a JPEG down here, JPEG, and the quality is 100, so the highest quality I can get. I simply gonna click export. Now up here you see what Adobe Lightroom does. It's gonna export those three files the way I adjusted the sliders to the right hand sliders pane into my subdirectory. So far I haven't changed anything but the white balance. Now after I have, or Adobe Lightroom has exported those three files, I'm going to take those three and get them into Adobe, not Adobe, into Photomatix Pro. Now we're all set to go. All the three images have been exported. Now let's move over to Photomatix and get into my processing directory, which is here, and locate the images. Here we go. Now those are the three images taken. Simply select them. So select the first one, hit shift, select the third one, and drag and drop them over. Photomatix is asking if I want to merge those three photographs to an HDR, and I'm going to go and acknowledge this. The same here. Now this is just a selection. DSC 1999, 2000, and 2001 are the three images I want to combine. I'm going to hit OK. Now here I have my HDR options. First option is asking me if I have taken the photographs on a tripod or not. And I did. So 99%, no, not 99, 95% I'm on a tripod. Especially, you know, at night images, you have to have a tripod. So I took it on a tripod. I do not want to remove ghosts. This is if you have any movements in a picture, if you have a boat passing by, a bird flying by, people moving, you can reduce those movements. I mean, you have like 3 photographs and there is movement in a picture, you can reduce those movements to 1 photograph. If you have a long-term exposure and people move, they still move. So noise reduction, I'm gonna get the underexposed photograph and I'm gonna reduce the noise there. Why? Because the underexposed photograph has the most noise. Black, if you're gonna zoom into black areas using Adobe Lightroom, you're gonna see that the noise is in the black part of the picture. So I'm only gonna reduce the underexposed image, or the noise at the underexposed image. I'm gonna reduce chromatic aberrations. Now what I'm gonna do is hit and align to HDR. Photomatix now takes the 3 images, combines them, and overlays them, and creates one. And this is what I explained earlier when I was out shooting. This is the bracketing mode, needs to be enabled at your camera to shoot at least 3 images, an underexposed, normal exposed, and overexposed photograph. You know, the cameras out there, they can, you know, you can go up to like 12 photographs in a row, not 12, 13, it must be an odd number. But anyway, I figured, I tried 5, but I figured it doesn't add a lot of information or a lot of drama to my pictures if I'm going to take 5 photographs. So I reduced it to 3. So once the Photomatix has finished, you're going to see on screen this here. You're going to see on screen the result. Over here, the sliders pane, we can start playing with this. In the middle is the picture itself, and over to the right you have the presets pane. Those are all my presets I did over the years here, and you can see those small little icons. They show you, they give you a preview on how the photograph would look like if you're gonna click one of these. Oh, that's kind of, no, it's not nice. See here, that's too blurry. Let's go back. Let's have a beer and let's have another beer. So those are the 2 presets I'm giving away for free. I'm sorry about that. Let's start with this and, you know, slightly adjust the photograph. I don't know what those sliders do to the left, so I just, you know, I'm clicking on a preset. The name is Let Us Have a Beer, and according to what I click, so let me click Let's Have Another Beer, and just watch the left hand side here and see what happens. I'm gonna click on this. Now see here, first of all, what happened is the method changed, so this is a different algorithm, and the sliders changed too, according to how I saved my presets. Let me go back here to Let Us Have a Beer, and like I said, I don't know what all the sliders do, I just keep playing. Let me bring them all the way to the left hand side, and let me bring them all the way to the right hand side. I kind of like it better to the left hand side. This is actually not too strong. I kind of like it, like the strengths on a 10. I want to brighten up the picture a little bit. I think it's too dark here. We have to change that. Yeah, it's gonna get a little, nah. See here, if I'm gonna bring up the brightness, what's gonna happen here? Yeah, you can see that. I it's not nice. There's still some noise in the picture, so let me, dial that back until it's not looking too bad. That's not too bad. Shadow contrast, again, all the way to the left and all the way to the right. Kind of like that here. Local contrast. Ooh no. That needs to go over here. I kind of like that better. All right. White clip. Oh, come on. Yeah, my computer is kind of getting older and older by the minute, and I should get them replaced. Right. I thought that's going to happen. I still have the problem here. So, mid-tone. Yep. And the color saturation, I can already tell you that I'm going to leave it where it is, and that's too oversaturated, excuse me, and that's black and white. This is not what we want. So I'm going to leave it where it was, more or less. And I'm going to get the mid-tones a little back. Alright. So let's close that. Alright, I think that doesn't look too bad. From here, we're going to apply. And what's going to happen is it applies the sliders or the settings, and it's going to merge the 3 photographs into one. Currently, it's fusing the images with Fusion Natural. This is the HDR algorithm I've chosen to combine them. That is going to take a while. Here we go. That's the final result. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sharpen the photograph instead of doing the sharpening. Just make sure that the pane sharpening is enabled. So you can go for contrast, color, or sharpening. And sharpening with none, I'm going to go for medium. Once this is done, I'm going to say done. Now the only thing I need to do is save the photograph. You can start exporting the photograph directly from Adobe Lightroom, and it re-imports, so it boomerangs it back, and the sharpening option is not there, so it's not gonna, it's not gonna pull up, and that is why I'm gonna create the export to JPEG, go from there to Adobe, again, Photomatix, and now go to Adobe Photoshop. The image has been saved here in the processing directory, and it added up all the numbers, DCS 1999, 2000, and 2001, and it's going to add the information about the algorithm that was used, the fused one. Alright, let's click OK and close everything here. Here we go. Now that's the photograph. We want to finally retouch in Adobe Photoshop. Now we need to start Adobe Photoshop. Alright. Don't look at my please, it's a mess, but it needs to be a mess because everything I do everywhere is like kind of messy. This is the way I organize myself. Okay, let us wait a little bit until Adobe Photoshop has started. So there's a few things missing. I used the Adobe Cloud selection, and it updates itself, so I am always on the latest version of Adobe Photoshop. I'm going to close down. That's the Nick collection. Google Nick collection came free about, I don't know, 9 months ago, and I downloaded it, and there's another video out there on how to use it. I think it's a phenomenal tool. Alright, let's close that. Let us go back into my processing directory and simply gonna drag and drop my photograph over to Adobe Photoshop. Yeah, let's convert. I said at the very beginning I don't like the building here, and I do not like this. What is this actually? A boat! Phoenix fireboat. This has to go away. There's a cropping tool. There's like a perspective cropping tool or just a crop tool. I kinda like to use just a crop tool. I'm gonna show you right now why. Select everything. Up here, if you click on this little buddy here, you see the golden ratio. I pretty often use that to have, you know, here, or here, the information where the eye is focusing at. If I have the sun, I pretty often have the sun here or here. The same goes for the level. Well, the level, the horizon, not quite. I would go for not the triangle. Hang on, where is it? Rule of thirds. If I can, I would bring it down like this. This is cool. See, here we go. Kind of have the horizon on the bottom third, and the upper 2/3 is the sky. Well, not the sky, it's the bridge. And this is, by the way, how I look at pictures. I have like the rule of thirds. I'm gonna look at the lower part, at the mid part, and at the upper part of the picture, or the left part, the medium part, middle part, and the right part. Now let us move this little buddy away. Hey, see how that's a coincidence actually. And let us move the fireboat away, including the plant. See here, the plant, it has to go away too. Let's see. Yeah, like that. Once you're done, you're simply gonna hit enter. See, that's a way better picture than what we had before. So the unnecessary parts are now away. The eye is not distracted by the building or the boat, and that's not bad, I think. Let me remove a few things down here. I don't like what I'm seeing. Here we have a healing tool, spot healing brush tool. If I'm going to click on this, just make sure the content aware option is enabled. I'm gonna zoom in now to the locations I don't like. So those are the points. Excuse me. Those are the points down here, like this one. I don't like it. This one, I don't like either. No, that's what I thought. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. So I'm gonna hit the Alt key, right mouse click, and move it to the right. It's gonna increase the diameter of the brush. The brush over here. That's a little bit too obvious. I'm gonna hit Control C to undo what I did, and I'm gonna get the clone tool. There's a clone stamp tool. I'm gonna enlarge this. Now the way that works is I'm gonna hit Alt and tell the system, tell Adobe, here I want to clone by clicking the left mouse button, release it, and see what happens. Now it clones where we started. It's a little too obvious. Again, see here the pattern, it matches. I'm gonna get that one here and maybe a little from there. Still don't like that. I still do not like this part, and this part is too bright. So here we go. Cool. I kind of like that already. Now I'm gonna duplicate the layer. Now those little eyeballs here, or it's not an eyeball, it's actually an eye. That's the visibility of the layer. Now we have 3 layers stacked on top. And it's like if you want to read a book, it's like a page per page. You cannot see what's underneath. I'm gonna select the second layer, make the first one not visible, and gonna go up here, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. That's what we want to do. Now we're gonna blur the heck out of this. All right, that's not that bad. I'm gonna say okay. Now I'm gonna go, this is the trick, or one of the tricks I pretty often do. I'm gonna go for soft light. Alright, that's a little bit too dark. The blend mode is now soft light, so that means I sort of see things that is going to be passed through, in this case the soft light, to the upper layer. So once I'm going to enable this, oh hang on, see I'm still on normal and it doesn't do anything. As soon as I'm going to disable that, this is going to be visible now. I'm going to dial back the opacity. It's like the transparency in a picture. I'm going to dial it back a little bit. Okay, now I don't like this here, this part. I do like almost the rest, not all of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn that back on, create a layer mask, and select the brush tool from the tools box over here by either selecting it or press B. See here, now it's going to go over to B. The opacity now is at 58%. I want to go for like 50% more or less. And wherever I'm going to brush through now, it's going to add 50% of the layer underneath. So 50% on what you're going to see here. I definitely don't like this part, so I wanna avoid painting over that part here. So make sure the layer mask is enabled, and let us start brushing. Hopla. That's the same. Alternate right mouse, and to the right it's gonna be bigger. To the left it's gonna be smaller. And ooh, that's, see here, I don't like that either. Control C for undo. There we go. That I like a lot. Now I almost do that, you know, just because I did it over the past few years all the time. Now you want to regroup all the layers, so you're going to select the first one, hit Shift, select the background layer, right click and say Merge Visible. Now we have only the background layer. Now the only thing you need to do is save the photograph under File, Save As, and now we don't want to, you know, save it as a JPEG. We want to save it as a PSD file. And I now go back to my directory where I have stored my photographs, going to 2016. Get back here to my US tour, and I have a PSD subdirectory. Now I am going to move all this, say speichern, which means save. That's because of the local language settings of the Windows. I can't change that. But anyway, I can translate it. And that's the final result. Now the only thing I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to click File, Export, Save for Web Legacy, and I'm going to wait until it's going to give me a preview here in the middle. Again, I want to have it in JPEG, the quality, I want to have it at 100%, and I'm going to bring down the percentage to 20, say save, and this time it's in my processing directory, ready to be uploaded. Save, again speichern, and this is the final result. Thank you for watching, and I hope you had some good time, and I hope you could learn a few things. Just want to mention one thing. Those tutorials are here to show you how I do it, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it the same way. So just, watch how I do things, and maybe you can duplicate a few of my tricks. Maybe you can take a few tricks and get those into your processing, the way you process photographs. Yeah, I hope you had some fun. Thanks.